my goats. Notes, my goats. Notes, my goats. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Notes, my goats podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Brandon.
How's it going, dude?
It's going well, man. Can't complain too
Yeah.
much. It's football's done now. Can't watch football.
Well,
I'm not
XFL's going on,
eh,
and it actually is relatively decent football.
eh. Did
The
you
Rock's
know?
putting together some stuff.
Did you know that you can go for a 3-point conversion after a
Yeah,
touchdown?
dude. Did you see their kickoffs?
Uh-uh.
So the kickoffs, they have the kicker kickoff from like the normal 35 or 40 yard line from back there.
Yeah.
But the opposing team, the kickoff team and the receiving team are 5 yards apart, and I'm pretty sure they're at the 35 and the 30 yard line.
Wow.
But they can't move until the returner catches the ball. But they're only 5 yards apart.
Interesting.
So it's a lot less collision.
Yeah.
And there's you have to, if you keep your lanes, it should be a pretty easy coverage. But if you get wonky, those returners can take off, and they've got a lot like that small telephone box.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. You don't get that same head of speed to smash somebody.
Right.
So I actually liked that, and I like you haven't watched any of the games yet, but they actually talk to the coaches on the sideline as they're calling plays.
Oh, that's
You
weird.
can hear the coaches calling the plays and what they're talking to the players about. It's it's very, very fan friendly, bringing you behind the curtain, everything. I enjoy it. I watched it last week. I enjoyed it a lot. So I would give it a shot. Just take a peek at it. It's gonna be kind of hokey because it's what it is, but it's not as hokey as it used to be.
Harlem
When Vince was
Globetrotters
doing it.
hokey.
Yeah. No. Which somebody told me today, the Savannah Bananas are the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, which I countered because the Savannah Bananas are hell of baseball players, and they could probably go pro in a lot of leagues.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the Globetrotters couldn't, but it's a different aspect.
Yeah.
The XFL is going to make football fun again.
Sure.
Whereas the Harlem Globetrotters make basketball fun.
Sure.
The Savannah Bananas are making baseball fun. Baseball's trying to put some stuff in there. They're trying. They're throwing pitches, but
yeah. Well, there's a pitch count this year for baseball, so
yep. There'll be some fun stuff. Bigger
pitch
bases.
Clock, I guess, not a
pitch
count,
clock. Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be better. I do recommend the XFL though. But dude, something amazing happened.
What's that?
You're aware of this, but something amazing happened.
What's that?
Something I've been trying to do for a very long time.
Yeah.
I would actually say since maybe episode 20.
Sure.
I've been trying to get something happening for our podcast.
Yeah.
And it finally happened.
Yeah. Only goats.
Not yet. That's coming soon. If TikTok keeps going the way it's going, Only Goats would be a better family-friendly option.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm here for that though. Cool with it. Free the pepperoni. We're good with that. It is what it is. No, dude. We finally got banned in Russia and Belarus.
Video content did.
Some of our content was banned in Russia and Belarus.
Yep.
It's just slippery slope before we all get banned in Russia and Belarus. I still have work to do.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I'm going to do the work.
Yeah.
I keep making fun of Putin. I keep doing things to piss that, if he ever listens, I'm going to get bombed. It's going to happen, and I'm okay with that. And you don't live very far from me, so you're kind of screwed anyway. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the afterglow or after effect or whatever. Aftershock. I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's always the afterglow when you hang out with me though, right? It's what happens.
It's something like that.
So I would thought that was hilarious. You got the email and you're like, check your email right now. Why? And I was like, did I get in trouble? They got the principal's office? And you're like, kinda.
Yeah.
I'm checking right now. You banned in Russia and Belarus. Woo!
Right. Yeah.
I was super happy.
For sure.
All for Sam Smith.
Right.
Who would thought the gay guy would have got us? The gay guy would have got us kicked off in Belarus and Russia.
That's all. So, all right, Steve. So, you mentioned we've talked baseball, we've talked football, XFL, we've talked Harlem Globetrotters, and we've talked about being canceled in Russia. Steve, all of that generally relates to what we're talking about today. So,
Something I'm a
Steve,
big fan of.
yeah, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about fun,
Yeah.
and not more the concept of fun because we always talk about fun.
Yes, we always have fun here.
I would say 99% of the time, even when we're being super serious, we're probably still having fun.
I mean, go check out the Aaron Carter episode, guys. Check out the word association name game.
Yeah, there's some there's some interesting things there.
Or
But
Shania Twain
we are, or should I?
and the
We
Wang
probably
game
shouldn't promote
there.
that one.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm gonna promote that one though. I already pulled the clip.
Right.
It's probably already out by now. Uh, Today we're talking about Fun, the band Fun, and
Yeah.
their album Some Nights.
Yep.
Now, this is actually, I think, a you pick, not a me pick.
No, this is
What
you
was one of
pick.
us? What was me pick?
This is you pick.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I love this band, so it kind of works out. So, how familiar are you with Fun? Like, did you listen to them definitely when they
Uh
were like in their high points?
no, I mean a little bit here and
Really?
there. Their popular stuff. And then when they hung out with Pink a little bit.
Well, Nate did, yeah.
Oh, Nate did, yeah, but like that, I mean, that's pretty much it. I didn't really listen to them a whole lot, so
They were like right in my like getting out of the like punk phase into like that like
sure,
alternative pop phase for me. I love
yeah,
this band.
yeah.
I hope
You
they
know who
come
this
back
band
soon.
reminds me of? Like in today's,
AJR?
yes,
Yeah.
100%,
I actually thought AJR had Nate Russ in it.
yes,
Like
because
he
I
would
mean they
fit in
do sound
perfectly.
very similar.
AJR is a bit more eclectic,
Yeah,
like musically,
yeah,
whereas Fun is a bit more traditional musically.
right.
But Nate Russ would fit in very well with AJR, the brothers AJR.
Oh, for sure.
I thought he like I was like I think I said that AJR like did they rip off Fun? Like what the hell? Um,
Right.
because it sounds exactly like Fun,
Yeah,
except musically a little different. But
just a little bit.
so um, Fun is an American pop rock group. They're active from 2008 to 2015. Now they are actually on hiatus. They are not disbanded. Um, the three members of the band have kind of gone off and done their own things a little bit here. Band consists of Nate Russ, Jack Antoff, Andrew Dost. They have only two studio albums, but they did put out 7 EPs, so extended plays, 11 singles, 6 Grammy nominations, including 2 wins, one for Best New Artist and one for Song of the Year for We Are Young. The band formed as the three artists were kind of coming out of other bands.
Oh,
Um, so Nate approached each Jack and Andrew to be in this band because the band that he was in was kind of ending. Jack was taking a break from what he was doing. Andrew's stuff was kind of going on as well. So they said, why don't we just go after it, together?
sure.
It kind of worked out that way. Uh, so they were the first band to get a #1 hit on the Hot 100 chart with the song "We Are Young"
Okay.
since Nickelback's "How You Remind Me."
Oh,
So prior to Nickelback's or between the two,
yeah.
all of the Hot 100 charts were not the #1 songs were by like single artists or duos, not by a full band,
Oh,
which makes sense because Billboard, like it or not, Billboard's a hip hop or a pop. Like that's where all
yeah,
the money comes in most of the time.
yeah,
Rock groups don't usually pull as much money. I mean, we talk about Spotify listens, and Taylor Swift has 80 million. Bad Bunny's got 90 million. Sam Smith is in the 70s. It's like
yeah,
Ed's in the 70s. Like these single artists are just annihilating the money side of things, which is what Billboard goes on
yeah.
here. But
Yep.
they were the first band to have a #1 hit on the Hot 100 since Nickelback's "How You Remind Me." So it had been probably a good 5 to 7 years, easy between the
Nice.
two of
Okay.
those. I think "How You
Yeah.
Remind Me" was early 2000s, and
Yeah.
"We Were Young" was like 2009, 2010,
Something like that. Yeah.
something. I'll tell you in a second here, actually. Um, they were the first. It was the first song. How again, sticking what "We Were Young," um, or "We Are Young" is that they were the first their first song to have 300,000 plus downloads for 7 straight days.
Wow.
Yeah, 300,000 plus. for 7 straight days. That means over the course of 1 week, it was downloaded over 2.1 million times.
That is crazy.
It's
Just one track.
ridiculous. Just one song. That could basically be enough just to do a thing.
Yeah.
Now, the band went on hiatus until 2015 prior to Nate's solo debut. Nate did go solo. You'd hear him with Just Give Me a Reason with Pink. We talked about that
Yeah.
September
Yeah.
last year, actually, with Pink. And he's
Yep.
done his own solo stuff, which sounds with the band fun because it's Nate. Nate's the singer. So, but his solo stuff is pretty good still too. Jack went on and did some recording of his own and touring with his band Bleachers. It's a solo project or a
Okay.
thing with he's done. And then he went on to produce albums for Taylor Swift. Just won the Grammy for that one.
Oh
He
wow.
produced Midnights.
Oh wow.
The Lord, Saint Vincent, which if you're not familiar with that, that's actually Zach Brown's electropop debut.
Yeah.
And then Carly Rae Jepsen
Oh yeah.
and other artists as well. So Jack Antonoff is a
Okay.
very hot commodity in the producer world right now.
Yeah.
Like he's
Holy
been there
smokes.
for a while, but the dude's got an ear for music.
Yeah.
He's a master here. Now Andrew has been working on solo music as well and also scoring films. So he did some stuff with films, a lot of like B movie straight to DVD type films.
Oh
Still
yeah.
doing stuff, but not as popular or as
Eh,
prominent as the other two band members.
fair.
Still doing his thing though. How many Spotify listeners do you think Fun is averaging monthly?
Mm. 975,000.
Oh man. Well, you got part of that right, ish. Let's go 7,941,000.
Wow.
Yeah, let's go almost 8
Okay.
million.
I was expecting it to be low because they haven't been around for a while.
They pull, man. This band they're heavy hitters. They're
I guess so.
like I said, AJR is a lot like these guys, and AJR is going to be widely loved 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Like they're before their time kind of situationally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where like the general public really hasn't latched onto that band yet. Same thing kind of happened with Fun is they hit the ground running with some nights and then it just blew up and then they closed ranks quick and they were just like we're out. But I'm sure they're still pulling royalties in for this album.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Um
sure.
Now Some Nights was released February 21st, 2012. It's 10 tracks, 40 minutes long. The deluxe album is 15 tracks, 59 minutes long. Um, but does include acoustic renditions of the singles, which is some of those extra tracks that are in there.
Mm.
Um, it did reach number 3 on the Billboard 200 and number 20 on the 2012 year-end chart, 23 on the 2013 year-end chart, and 63 on the decade-end chart.
Wow.
So even 2 years later, it was still in the top 25.
Yeah.
And then this was an early one in the 2010s decade, and it was still
Yeah.
in the well, just outside the top quarter,
Yeah.
63. I mean, the top quarter would be the 50s, so
Right.
it's top 30%.
Yeah. Right.
Um, Now, the album I thought was very interesting. It's actually produced by Jeff Bhaskar. He had mostly worked with hip hop and R&B artists. So Nate was listening to a lot of hip hop leading up to this album and mostly Kanye's album My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Oh
And
yeah.
he wanted Bhaskar for the album. What
Oh.
actually ended up happening is Bhaskar was working with Kanye on his 808s album at the time.
Okay.
And Fun waited to record until they could get him. So
Oh.
they were like, we need to get this guy. So we're gonna wait. We're gonna hold off. We're not gonna have anybody else produce it. We want this guy. So they
Right.
actually waited for Jeff to be done so they could record this album with him specifically just for him. That was their kind of vision, and it worked out.
Interesting.
Um, Now let me see. The lead single "We Were Young" did hit number one on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. It had over 6 million downloads total.
That's
That
insane.
one track. The second single, "Some Nights," reached number 3 on the Hot 100 chart and had 6.8 8 million downloads. Two tracks, almost 13 million downloads between the two of them.
Wow.
Two tracks out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah. Couple of things here. The band has been compared to Queen quite frequently. One reviewer, this is perfect. One reviewer described them as having a dash of Queen here and a dollop of Les Mis there.
All
When
right.
he was describing how to describe the band Fun, he's like, you take a little bit of Queen, you take a little bit of Les Mis, you put those together, and this is what you get.
Yeah.
So as theater nerds, I'm like,
Oh, for
yup,
sure.
I can hear that. I hear that all the time on this album. They did have 5 singles
Right.
here. We Are Young, Some Nights, Carry On, Why Am I the One, and All Alone. Those last 2 singles I didn't know were actually singles personally, but
Hmm.
the first 3 we've all heard
Right.
100 million times,
Yeah. So,
all over the
Steve,
radio.
before you go into that, before
Yes,
you continue, I just
yes,
did some quick general math. So you said two tracks got like 13 million downloads, right?
yep, almost 13 million.
So let's say 2012 tracks like this probably still went for 99 cents on iTunes. Like they
Yep.
probably weren't the buck 29 yet, right?
No, they're 99 cents.
Right. So I just did quick math, 13 million times 99. And then I got that amount. Like, and then I said, okay, well, if that's the amount that they would get, I then divided it like as if taxes were taken out and other people were getting their stuff. I said they'll get 75% of that. Probably a little generous.
Probably
But
more than a little, but yes,
absolutely. That still is over $9.5 million
two tracks.
for two tracks that they got.
And I would
If
I would probably guess that they would after all of the things were taken out and Apple took their cut and everybody
yeah,
else took their piece of it away.
probably close to 4 or 5 million.
I would guess they're probably between the 2 and the 4 million mark.
Yeah,
Just split between 3 dudes.
right,
That's after they paid management, after they paid the record label, and who else they had to pay for production and everything else.
right.
Because I'm guessing the producer probably gets a cut because he produced the song, so he gets his own
Oh,
little cut to it,
absolutely. Oh, for
based on the
sure,
contract and whatnot. But
for sure.
we all know that bands don't make a whole lot of money via record sales. It's almost always made via touring.
Right.
But even if those 2 tracks, even if they pulled 1 million per each
Yeah.
track, just $1 million just for sales for each track, between 3 dudes, that's $330,000
Yeah.
times 2, so 660 grand.
Yeah.
That's not a bad gig for 2 songs.
Nope. Not at all.
And then you play your live shows and you make a bunch of money, so it kind of worked out here.
There you go.
Um, so we got through our singles. It is time for us to get into our favorite tracks.
It is.
Brandon, what was your favorite track?
I picked All Alone as my favorite
All
track.
Alone, really?
All Alone. I did. The first thing that got my attention from this track was that piano bass line groove that starts off.
Mm-hmm.
So but then you get into the chorus, you have that canned brass and other electronic sounds that really help amplify this track and kind of bring it to that next level for me. To me, this track is just a jam. It's fun. These lyrics are super catchy and one of those tracks that you can sing along with in the car. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
just like this band's name, it's fun. So
I love it.
yeah. What about you, bud?
I did pick a single too, and I kind of went chalk, but I didn't go to the big one. The other one that I really loved. I went with Some Nights.
Okay.
I love how this track builds. I'm a big proponent of complexity, which is probably why I liked AJR so much.
Yeah.
Um, and this band brings in so many different sounds and things, and the things that Nate does with his voice just like kills me sometimes. But the guys come in with this like Queen-esque Bohemian Rhapsody style choir of them kind of singing it out,
Yeah.
and with Nate leading, and then go to that big bass drum and guitar and just come at you. And
Mhm.
then like it's Nate kind of comes in at just yelling at you for a minute, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's no wonder why, and this is something that you'll appreciate because I've heard this. why a lot of high school and college marching bands converted this into a show track because it's so big. It's such a
Yeah.
big track that I've heard it converted into a show track for marching bands.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I've heard it done with on multiple different levels of marching bands do it. Because it just
Yeah.
lends so well to that style of music. Um, and it's so big you can get after it
You can't get
and
out. Yeah.
make it a big piece.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Now the track goes
ladies and
off the album
ladies and
gives you a
gentlemen,
taste of what
this
that
is
music is
Shatner's
you're gonna get in the
Poetry
next 50
Slam.
or so minutes. Um, I I wrote theater kids rejoice, we are your people,
Mhm.
because this is what you're gonna get. Like this is a theater kid album.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. 100%. All right,
All
Steve.
good.
So it's time for our first game. It's time for the fun wing. Let's go.
If you guys aren't familiar with the Wang game, this is the word association name game. Take the first letter of all of those words, put them together, you get the Wang. Today, get the fun Wang.
Yep.
How this works is I'm going to give Brandon, I'm leading the game today, so I'm going to give Brandon a clue, and he is going to try to guess with the clue that I give him what song I'm talking about. Either it
Yep.
can be a phrase, could kind of word associate some of the words. I could just give him something completely random. I
You
kind of do what I
could.
want.
Yeah.
Um, Generally, they're not appropriate. These two, though, I think are okay.
Yeah.
So I picked two tracks. Sometimes it's two, sometimes it's three, depending on our mood. Sometimes it's Morgan Wallen, and we do 14, because there's
Yep.
85 tracks in that album. But
Correct.
today we got two. Brandon, you ready to go?
I am ready to rock and roll,
All
Steve.
right. First one, I'm gonna give you the easy one first.
All right.
Keep calm.
Keep calm. Carry on.
Yes, keep calm and carry on.
I love it.
Like that was an easy one. I got that one
You
there.
teed that one up. I like it.
I did, and now the next one I'm pretty happy about. It's not dirty, but I do like it.
Okay.
Do the hokey pokey.
um, we are young.
No,
I know what it is. 1 foot.
1 foot.
Yeah.
Yes, 1 foot. I liked
Yeah.
that one. It was
That's good.
wholesome.
That's very wholesome.
I did a
Congratulations.
whole. I did the wholesome wag.
Yeah, you did. You
Get
did a
me.
whole. You did a whole some wing. Yeah, you did. All right. So with that,
Just
Steve,
made it worse.
let's talk. Yeah, let's talk about some least fun things and our least favorite tracks on this one. How about you start us off?
I will start. This was incredibly hard for me actually. My least favorite though was Stars.
I picked that one too, honestly.
I like all of these songs. If I skip one more often than this, it's this one.
Mhm.
And it's really only for one reason.
Yep. Is it
Nate's
the
voice in the
underwater?
modulator.
I was gonna say, is it the underwater gargle auto tune?
The modulator.
Yeah.
He uses that modulator on some of his songs. On some songs it works.
Right.
This one, it's very ear piercing and not in a good way.
Yeah.
It throws you way off and you want to skip it. Um,
Yep.
if I could pull the just the music of this one though, this one is so complex and good.
Yeah.
Um, it's just that one part. If they were to skip it and not have that modulator come on super heavy at the end,
Mhm.
I'd be fine because it like if I can just breeze past that point, I
Yep.
like this song.
Well,
I
and it
like even the
doesn't.
lyrics.
It's not. I mean, it's there pretty kind of throughout the whole thing, but then super prominent at that one section where then it, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
for me, I was
it's
like,
the back third.
yeah. So I'm like, this track isn't bad, but then it started, and I was like, yep, yep, I can't.
And
Mm-mm.
for me too, it's we have a tendency to pick the long track
Yeah,
usually. We pick the long track or the short track for at least. Those are the easy. It's like the
it's the
low hanging
easy
fruit.
ones.
This one is almost 7 minutes long,
Yeah,
and I don't normally listening to it except for that one part. I don't realize it's 7 minutes long
right.
because it flows and it's
It
just like you're
does.
listening to a couple different things and it just kind of all carries through, and it's like a showpiece. It's like going to the theater.
Yeah,
I don't realize it's
absolutely.
7 minutes long. It's just an act, and you're
Right.
playing it. But when he gets that voice modulator going, and I'm like, oh, dude,
Mm.
that's too much. You went too heavy on that this time. So
Yep.
So
Yeah,
stars. I'm glad it was both of us that felt the same way
it
on
was
that one.
absolutely. Yeah, underwater gargle is what I called it. So
Underwater gargle. I
yeah,
like it.
that's what it was. So all right, Steve. Man, that was quick because I didn't have to go into any notes because we
I like it.
basically just talked it through the whole at the same time. So
Yeah.
all right, do you have a name for this one, Steve?
The fun chat.
Yep, let's go.
I had one earlier.
All right, Steve. So I picked two tracks on this one.
Hmm.
And guys, if you are unfamiliar with the Shatner's Poetry Slam, if you are unfamiliar with William Shatner, we'll start with that. Bill Shatner can't talk out of his ass. And when he does, it sounds kind of not good. So, with that, I am going to take two tracks from this album and I'm going to read lyrics as monotone, not like Ben Stein monotone, but like monotone with random inflection. And Steve has to try to figure out what tracks I'm talking about. So, Steve, I think that was like my best and most favorite way of describing this game. So, um,
Yes.
are you ready?
I'm ready to go, man. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Here's the first one for you. This growing old is getting old. I often find myself thinking about the birds, the boats, and past loves that flew away or started sinking. Side note, I hope it wasn't past loves that were sinking. That's a little awkward. Murder. Anyway, uh, and it's crazy here without you. I used to think this all was ours.
Is it all alone?
Nope. We'd stay up late, debate on how we'd find our way, say it's all up in the song title.
Stars?
Yep. Yep. Stars. All right.
I was bouncing. I was bouncing. There's three of them I was looking at. I was. It's hard
Yeah.
to. Oh, it's hard. It's hard to hear it that way and figure it out. Some of them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. Here's your next one.
Hmm.
What have we done? Oh my God. What have we done? Oh my God. This is really happening. You've never looked so bored. Can you feel my fingernails? They've never been so short. God, I relate to that. It's hard to lay a golden egg with
Why am I the? Why
everyone.
am I the one?
Nope. With everyone around. It's hard to stay inside my head when words keep pouring out. Like starlight crashing through the room, we'll lose our feathers. Yes, I know it hurts at first, but
It's all right.
nope.
Damn it.
But song title, song title, song title, song
It gets
title.
better.
Yeah, it gets better.
That
Absolutely.
song's
So
weird. I like
it
it. That
is
song's weird.
weird. It is weird. So Steve, let's get into our deep cut tracks here now,
Do
and
it.
I will pick one that was actually your one of your word association name game tracks,
I like it.
and it is 1 foot.
Nice.
Yeah, this song is an interesting interpretation of the phrase "just put 1 foot in front of the other."
Hmm.
The lyrics for this track say, I'll put 1 foot in front of the other. I don't need a new love or a new life, just a better place to die. I mean, it's kind of a morbid interpretation, but also interesting at the same time. That you kind of just need a change of scenery, that, whatever. But this music on that chorus was also super crisp and catchy too, that I just really enjoyed listening to this track. So that one for me, 1 foot, was my deep cut.
Nice. I like that track too. My deep cut was actually the bonus track
Okay.
on the album. I picked Out on the Town.
Yeah.
Um, it can't get any deeper on an album than a bonus track. That really deserves to be a feature on this album. This deserves to be a single.
Yeah,
It's an
it's a good track.
amazing song.
Yeah,
It gives me just a subtle Gin Blossoms like '90s rock feel with like Nate's usual panache, like that usual showmanship of like there, but it's that like '90s alternative rock feel of it.
yep,
Um, Instrumentally, it has so much depth. The drums on this though, I know we have some fans that are percussion lovers, but oh my god, the drums on this track are
yeah,
amazing. And I literally had no idea this was a bonus track until Spotify told me it was a bonus track.
sure,
I just thought it was on the album
yeah,
because it's on the album. It's just hidden. It's like after a little bit.
right,
Um, and when we still listened to CDs and stuff, and you had no idea there was extra songs there because they
right.
just hid them.
It just showed up.
But I loved this song. I love the like the subtlety of it. I think it's a great way to end the album.
Agree. Yeah,
Um,
same.
and just it's so big, but then it ties everything back together, brings it all down. You get that like kind of like one to one listener to singer vibe,
Yeah,
and then you just kind of end it on a good note. It's very even keel.
it is absolutely.
I love it. So that was my dark cut, my dark cut, dark horse deep cut track. Can't even talk
Wow,
today.
you all right
I know,
there?
right? I'm doing good. I'm just losing
All
myself
right.
here a minute.
Yeah,
I'm on the
sounds
bar
good.
stool. I'm trying to fall over. We're good.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well,
Um,
let's get into our
it's
final thoughts on this one, Steve. Put a bow on it, tie this one together, put it under the tree, and let's rock and roll.
let's get
Um,
going here.
so yeah, for me, man, this group reminds me a lot of AJR. We just talked about it earlier. The
Hmm.
sound, the electronic music that they make, album and music are solid on this album. There's no denying that they know what they're doing and in the musical lane that they drive in. Just like their name, this album is fun to listen to. And I really, although I am only really familiar with a certain handful of tracks, I'm going to check out their other stuff, their EPs and their other album. I'm going to check it out because it is fun. This is a really good group. And I was a huge fan of AJR when we did their review a couple years ago. Super fun there. For me, I'm actually going to give this one an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, um, I'm kind of really wondering why people don't like fun, the concept, and also this band,
I was
because
gonna say
a
there's
lot
a
of you,
lot to that
a lot
question,
of you
Steve.
mofo's don't like fun.
That's true.
Um, both in both formats here. Um, it's an honest question that I've asked actually a lot over the years, and I still don't actually have a real reason why there is so much dislike for this band. Um, they reminded me of a poppier and maybe like a more theatrical version of Panic,
Okay.
and like a less serious version of the Killers.
Hmm.
Um, this band is it's fun. They're very light. They're very um theatrical. They're the geeky theater kids that are in the back corner that are really talented. Nobody freaking looked at them.
Right.
Um, for me, the album is a complete work. I'm a bit saddened they really had only put out one so far. When I had listened to this, I was just like, I want more of this. Give me more of this,
Yeah.
because it kind of met me where I was kind of in a downside, like a down spot in life, and like it kind of pulled me out a little bit. Music has a way of doing that. Meets you where you
Mhm.
are, but then says, "Hey, it's not all that bad.
Right.
Um, here's something new to listen to. Check this out." Um, they did put out a second album. I have listened to that one as well. It's not as good as this one, but it's still good. If you are a fan of big vocals, engaging lyrics, and music that just keeps the listener entertained, this is an album for you. I would say give this one a listen. If you are a fan of AJR and really haven't listened to Fun, or the other way around, if you're a fan of Fun but haven't listened to AJR, check out those albums. OK
Mhm.
Orchestra from AJR, which we did a review for a while ago.
Yeah. I first brought it up. I first brought it up February of 2021
I don't know if we did it until
at the
November.
Super Bowl, and then we did the album later that year when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So OK Orchestra by AJR and
Episode
This Sons.
100, actually.
Yeah, look at that. And it's like 150 episodes ago.
Right.
So, and Some Nights by Fun, they, it's like um, they're like they just they do it works so well together. I can't remember the word I'm thinking of here.
They're yeah,
They complement each other so well,
they do.
whether you can listen to it and say, "Hey, I can hear the different comparisons here. I can see the similarities." If you're not a
Absolutely.
fan of the music, if you're not a fan of either band, you're probably not gonna like the other one either. Just
No.
putting it out there.
Yeah.
You got to be a little quirky for this one. I will say I'm right there with you. I gave them an 8 as well. I thought that this album is really, really good.
I like it.
Not perfect by any way, shape, or form, because not
No.
many albums are, but
Sure.
it's fantastic. So I went with an 8 as well. So
I like that.
that's gonna wrap up uh Fun's album Some Nights here on the Notes for Goats podcast. Brandon, where can we be found? That maybe they found us somewhere today, but can find us other places as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you guys, wherever you found us, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Pandora, wherever. Thanks for listening, guys. We totally appreciate it. You can find us on social media all over the place. You can find us on Facebook, search the Notes Goats podcast. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Notes Goats Pod. All three of those platforms, we are posting clips, we are posting reels, we are posting all sorts of stuff, all the content that you want to see as far as preparing for upcoming episodes, as well as clips for episodes that have already dropped. So go to those, give us a follow, like us, subscribe, all sorts of stuff. And guys, Steve, I'm making it official because you're already making it. You've
It's
already
already going by
at,
now.
at by now it's already going. Guys, the graphics guy got a promotion. He is now the graphics and video extraordinaire.
You
So
got it's fun employment, right?
it's fun employment. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, with that, guys, head on over to our YouTube channel. Search the Notes Goats podcast, subscribe to our channel, hit that little bell, and you will be notified every time either a clip or a full episode is dropped of our show. Like us, give us a review on all of these platforms with it that you can. Leave comments. We'll respond to them as we can. We check social. Steve and I are both big social media dudes, um, usually, and whatever. So we'll get to you. We'll talk to you. We love to talk to you, but head on over to YouTube. That is our
And
big platform now.
I will say too, Brandon, if you have listened to the podcast on Spotify or any other podcast channels like audio, and you go and check the video podcast out, you may catch a couple of different things because you edit the audio, I edit the video, and we don't edit together. So
True.
you may cut things out that I don't. I may cut things out that you didn't. So they're pretty close, I would
Yeah.
assume, but they're also being edited before episodes are dropped, so I don't hear the final episode
The
until
final cut.
the same
Yeah.
time you guys hear it,
Right.
and Brandon doesn't see the final cut until I put it on YouTube. So
I put a
it's kind of
lot
a
of faith in Steve.
yes, you do, and I'm playing with a lot of fun stuff right now, so it's kind of good times.
Yeah.
But so if you have listened to an episode and you're like, why are they so giggly? Oh, go over to YouTube and find that spot. I'm sure
Yeah.
it'll be there, and you'll figure out why I'm losing my mind because I can't
Right.
read what I'm getting ready to read.
Right.
So it's those fun little quirks. If you found us somewhere else, there's other ways for you to see us do this now.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, fingers crossed, we get our TikTok channel up and going. We get our YouTube channel up and going. We'll start doing this live.
Yep.
Um, a couple times a year, maybe once a month, we'll do it live. And just record the episode straight live and just post it right away.
Yep.
F it, go for
Yep.
it. But
Yep.
that's kind of the plan, guys. We're just dipping our toe in the water with some video stuff. We've got the audio down. We're
Yeah.
getting TikTok together. It's just gonna get bigger and better, guys. So
Yep.
wherever you found us, thank you.
And then we're gonna leave with this. There's some more things in the works potentially. So we'll get there, but more things in the works.
Yeah,
Steve, you know all these things.
I
So
do.
you do. Don't pretend like you don't. So
May have forgot.
Texas.
Oh, Texas.
Affiliation with Texas. We're not moving to Texas. Well, at least one of us isn't moving to Texas. The other one
Don't
might.
count your
Who
chickens on
knows?
that one, man.
So right. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
no, you are correct. There's other things in the works that
potential.
we're getting stuff together as well.
So more to come
Little
on
networking.
that stuff.
So
So
for sure.
we'll see.
All right,
So
guys. But this has been literally has been fun
it
and
has been
was
fun.
fun. This has been fun some nights on the Notes What Goes podcast. I am Steve,
I'm Brandon.
and we will see you on Friday.
Bye, guys.